It's time to check your money with America's Money Maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, before I get started, I want to do this. Go, 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 shorty. Yeah, Vicki had like a little birthday celebration a couple of weeks ago. And go ahead, Vicki. That was,
George, as you know, I've been on vacation and celebrating that birthday for 2 solid weeks now. Is still 1 more week left in October.
Right.
So I'm gonna continue my celebration, but do it more closer to home now since I'm back from my vacation birthday party in Tampa, Florida.
Happy birthday, Vicki, again.
Thank you very much, George. Speaking of Tampa, I want to concentrate. I'm going to tell everybody, first of all, let me back up for a second. What I'm going to talk about today is extremely important. And I hope you will take a moment or two and stop what you're doing and listen to what I have to say today with your sharpest, most attentive ears, because it's going to be something that you will need to reflect on over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, etc. So I was in Tampa, as you know, and I was in Tampa because of my birthday.
Yes.
And I decided to stay there for a longer period of time than I normally would, and also decided to do something that I don't do often, which is I didn't work at all. I decided to experience the community, and in doing so, saw something. And you know how, George, sometimes you go to a place, and because you get to step outside of your environment, you see things that make you reflect on what's happening in your own space, in your own environment, in your own city.
I had that experience not too long ago.
Okay, and so while I was there was an article in the paper. Actually, we went on one of those water taxi excursions because I like to do those things. And there was a mention of a mansion that had been built there that was supposed to be one of the largest mansions ever built in the Tampa area. And so we looked up the story of this mansion, which is currently under construction and has been under construction for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in going through that, I found out that they actually purchased the land 20 years ago. And in purchasing the land 20 years ago, had a vision and a mission. This was a private family, by the way, a mission and a vision that they were going to build this expansive compound for their entire family. And it dawned on me, we are in the midst of a type of building process that's going on for the next 20 years with the new Micron plant that is coming out into central New York. And it reminded me that I needed to go back and bring back some conversations, because it's the connecting of the dots and looking at the process and staying true to the mission that's going to be one of the most important things that's going to happen for the success of this community going forward. So I'm calling this conversation today, Revolution is Live in Central New York. Revolution is live in
Revolution is live in CNY.
Okay.
So, because did we talk about, because we televised the revolution already, right?
Yes, we did. What I did is back in October, believe it or not, because I went to look for it, October 11th, 2019.
Ooh, has it been that long?
It's been that long. Bring on the revolution. I repeated it last February, a portion of it, to just kind of spark some conversation. But the full segment on Bring on the Revolution was done in episode 85, October 11, 2019. During that time, I described all of the industrial revolution cycles. The first revolution being water and steam, which moved us into manufacturing. Second revolution being electric power, which produced mass production. Third being automation. And fourth, which is where we are right now, being the industrial revolution, which was built on the third to create artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and biotechnology robotics.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I also, back in that time, talked about a recent McKinsey study that predicted that as a result of AI, Now, George, think about this. As a result of AI, what have we talked about all the beginning, since June? As a result of AI, artificial intelligence is slated to disrupt 4.5 million jobs for
Wow.
African Americans who have a 10% greater likelihood of automated-based job loss than any other portion of the population.
Wow.
And the number jumps to 30% for African American men who do not have college degrees. In fact, the researchers estimated that 28% of the jobs held by Black men without college degrees will get disrupted by 2030. Now, I said at that point in time, we need to stop worrying about bake sales and football teams and start demanding that the skills required to compete are being offered in our children's schools.
Go ahead.
We needed to start paying attention to what was happening around us. In fact, in that article, here's something that was announced that year. Governor Cuomo, can you believe that? Governor Cuomo and many of the community leaders that month announced a significant state investment for 2 local companies, JMA Wireless and Bankers Health.
I remember that, yes.
JMA, okay, so we started talking about JMA Wireless and Bankers Health, but particularly JMA Wireless coming into central New York and transforming the vacant Coin building into a high-tech manufacturing center that was going to dominate Syracuse Southeast Gateway. They pumped in $25 million into that project and to a full city block, creating the nation's leading showcase for 5G experience and smart city development. February of 19, I repeated this story with some additions. And here's some of the additions. Again, I said, please stop worrying about bake sales and football teams and start demanding that the skills required to compete are being offered in your city schools and in your child's school. And start taking part in every town hall and meetup throughout the county, because this dire prediction for the impact of the 4th Industrial Revolution is true. And if we cannot allow this to pass us by, so start getting involved in everything around the county. So what has happened since then? Here's what's happened. Last Monday, while I was on vacation,
while you was away,
my phone goes off.
Yes.
And I hear the Biden-Harris administration designates Tech Hub in New York to support semiconductor manufacturing and supply chain sustainability.
Syracuse, Buffalo, Rochester, right?
There you go. Syracuse. It's called the New York Smart Corridor Tech Hub. And it's part of the president's investing in the American agenda for the U.S. to become a regional, or for the U.S. Commerce Department to identify regional centers primed for innovation and job creation. So here's the core of the announcement. And I'm going to read it because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. The lead agency is Center State Corporation for Economic Opportunity. The application is defined as far as the region. As you said, Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse, Ithaca, Auburn, and Batavia, basically all of upstate New York,
right,
is now becoming a designated site for tech, sustainability, and supply chain semiconductor manufacturing. The core technology, again, is going to be semiconductor manufacturing. The Tech Hub will coordinate across the region's significant semiconductor fabrication investment, adjacent supply chain assets, scientific capabilities, coalitions, and partner coalitions to establish an entrepreneurial and innovation ecosystem that provides career pathways and employment opportunities to the region's historically underserved communities. In doing so, the New York Smart Corridor Tech Hub seeks to cement its position as a global leader in semiconductor manufacturing and supply chain sustainability. This designation is an endorsement of the region's strategy to supercharge their respective technology industry to create jobs and strengthen the U.S. economy and national security. Now, you can read the full, because it's like 50 pages.
Okay.
And I'm not going to do 50 pages here. What I'm going to remind everybody is that this designation is wrapped around something that you may have forgotten about. And that is the CHIPS and Science Act, which was passed on August 9th, 2022 by the Biden and Harris administration to provide roughly $280 billion in new funding to boost domestic research and manufacturing for semiconductors. And what happened that summer afterwards, George?
What happened?
$100 billion.
Right.
$100 billion was now announced by the governor concerning the building of the Micron factory just outside of Syracuse. Folks, listen to me, please. The train is moving.
Yeah.
The revolution is live. And the disruption that it will cause in other parts of the country will not happen in Central New York, because Central New York is Revolution Central.
Mm.
Revolution Central is Central New York. I can't say it any louder. We started this discussion in 2019. We talked about it again in 2020, 21, and 22. You have got to get on board at all costs, by any means necessary. We can close this wealth gap issue because the conditions and the resources and all of the needed backstops and all of the needed capital and all of the needed resources are being pinpointed into this region. Central New York is the place to be. You should stop right now and say, how do I get involved? How do I get connected? George, we got about 36 months. This is Vicki's prediction. Nobody told me that, but I'm telling you this. We've got about 36 months because the foundation is being set for how prosperity for your families will transpire for generations to come. So here's what I'm asking everybody to please do. You need to attend every meeting, meaning there are announcements. You got to put down the screens about other stuff and find all the information about every meeting concerning manufacturing, semiconductor manufacturing, increased job opportunities. You need to stop and attend every meeting. And I want you to attend every meeting that's available all over the county, not just in your local area.
Go to all of them.
Go to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't go to all of them yourself, get your network together and say, you going to A and I'm going to B and we're going to C and I'll see you for coffee and we'll discuss what we all learned. Because the questions that get asked in different places are always different. So more information comes up and comes out. Read every news release, attend every workshop that's offered, enroll in workforce development courses focused on semiconductor manufacturing and artificial intelligence. Get connected with OCC. OCC is one of the major sites for the workforce development area concerning semiconductors. Stay tuned to this broadcast. Listen to the following podcast, Talk CNY, EYL, and Inspiration for the Nation. Stop worrying about bake sales and football teams and start demanding that the skills required to compete are offered in your child's school. If you remember, Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech actually was a focus on economic justice.
Yeah.
It's the economic justice, the economic issues around this country that are going to lift all boats, that are going to lift all individuals. This is the time. The revolution is live. It's in living color. And by any means necessary, we need to get on board. And finally, this is what I'm going to say. And it's really important that you hear me on this. I do not want to hear that the Biden-Harris administration hasn't done anything for you or this country. The foundation and the capital and resources needed to revolutionize the country and Central New York have been delivered 100%. You need to get on board because the revolution is live and because CNY, Central New York, is Revolutionary Central. Thank you very much, George. And our plate is now full.
All right. I want you to share and like this video, share and subscribe. That's what we want you to do. And do that now. And also, Vicki, how do they get a hold of you?
Area code 315-930-4499 or at info@Brackens, that's BRACKENS, FSN.com.
You have been advised that the revolution is live in CNY. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and the registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She is and always will be America's money maven.